Okay, here we go. Focus. Speed. I am speed. One winner, 42 losers. I eat losers for breakfast. Breakfast? Maybe I should have had breakfast. A little brekkie could be good for me. No, stay focused. Speed. I'm faster than fast, quicker than quick. I am lightning.
So, you've just started playing Beasts of Bermuda, and you want to play the Elasmosaurus. Well, I have just 2 questions for you. Do you like blenders? And do you like darting over entire islands? If so, then Elasmosaurus, the thin plate lizard, is for you. Elasmosaurus' base health at 1.0 is 625, and it has 750 base weight. It has a pretty high weight for its size, but still less than any other aquatic, and its health pool is incredibly low. It also has pretty low damage, actually, only dealing 80 damage per bite. Despite this, it does grow pretty quickly at the same growth rate as Megalo and Ichthy, getting to 1.2 in a little over 4 hours. It also has an incredibly high swim and sprint speed, significantly faster than Moza or Chrono, meaning that it's able to escape and traverse the map more effectively. Gameplay-wise, Elasmosaurus is an incredibly fast aquatic. It has the fastest base swim speed of any aquatic creature in the game. The only thing that can really keep up with you at the moment is Ichthy. Elasmo plays like a mid-tier carnivore in the ocean when there aren't any smaller creatures to hunt. This makes solo Elasmo a lot more challenging to be successful with because of their low health pool and healing. As a solo Elasmo, you're mainly going to be just eating fish and running away from anything that spots you, and occasionally picking off smaller creatures if you get the opportunity. It does have a pretty quick growth rate, though, making it a pretty solid hunter of like small Moses and Chronos. It's a good early game creature because you're able to get your talent points much quicker than they are. Now, when it comes to aquatics, most of my experience comes from playing Moza, so to me, Elasmos, after they got sharp teeth, were always those super toxic players that would travel across the entire map just to hunt you down. But having played quite a lot of Elasmo over the past few weeks, I don't think they're all that bad. I mean, they're certainly not the aquatic velos that people claimed they were. Like, Elasmo's gameplay varies quite a bit, and I think that's one of the main draws of it. I'm shocked that so few people play it right now. There's so many different build paths and options for you. It's a lot like Megalo in that regard, and it has relatively fast growth and a pretty well-rounded set of base stats. Now, that's not to say that Elasmo is great for beginners. It has a pretty decent skill cap, and its low health and health regen means that you really need to be cautious on what to go in on and when. Elasmos rely more than anything on maneuverability, speed, and numbers especially to overpower other players. And that's another thing. You will get a completely different gameplay experience depending on if you're playing Elasmo solo or if you're playing in a pack. Even more so than a lot of like land predators, because when you're in a group, you're able to take on bigger things more reliably, and because Elasmos have such a quick growth rate, it's not the worst thing in the world if you lose a pack member or two. They can just respawn or get nested in. Elasmos have 2 attacks, a left-click bite attack that does a small amount of damage and injury, and a right-click dart attack that does the same amount of damage, while also allowing you to quickly move forward in a single direction. While Elasmo doesn't have a huge amount of damage with its attacks, what really makes it shine, and what rises it above other like mid-tier carnivores in my opinion, is that its bites have an auto-aim feature. So even if your head isn't directly on the creature that you're attacking, it'll like snap to the side or snap up to hit them. This means that you're able to more reliably connect hits which in turn means that any on-hit effects are able to stack easier as well. So in a 1v1 scenario, despite doing less damage, an Elasmo is able to land more hits on a different creature if it has good positioning and good speed inherits. Your dart is primarily an escape tool. It's not going to be used very often in combat. More often than not, you're just going to use it to cross land bridges and to get across the map quicker. Although, be warned, you do make some pretty loud splashes when you land in the water, so definitely don't use it around, like, center. For creatures that Elasmo counters, Moza and Lurdu are the big ones in my opinion. Elasmo has Sharp Teeth, which is an incredibly powerful talent, and a pretty high turn rate, meaning that they can easily abuse the wide turn rates of Moza and Lurdu. They don't have anything to counter that, so they can just ass-ride them with little to no fear. And if you have a large pack of Elasmos, I mean, you will just shred through even, like, big Mozas. Even Chronos below, like, 1.2 will have a problem dealing with Elasmos without wasting a hefty chunk of their AP to turn in place with their lunge. It's only when creatures are starting to get big and are able to spec more points into, like, defensive traits that Elasmo starts to struggle. It's really an opportunistic hunter. Like, what you can or can't kill really depends on, like, how many players you have and how you build and what the growth of the creature is. Like I said, Elasmo is an early game creature. You're really going to be going for smaller things. Even in a large group, you can't really go for massive creatures. Not as efficiently as, like, Chrono or Moza. For creatures that counter Elasmo, the biggest one is Ichthy. With Dart in the place that it is right now, an Ichthy can easily outpace an Elasmo by just spamming their Dart. And if you get Dart or Aqua inherits on an Ichthy, you can Dart so many times it's fucking ridiculous. It's just, it's so silly how strong Ichthy is right now. Chrono, as well, is another creature that counters Elasmo. I don't think it's nearly to the extent that Ichthy is, though, because you don't really see Chronos chasing down Elasmos like you see Ichthy's doing. The main thing with Chrono is that once they reach a certain stage, they just become pretty much unkillable by Elasmos, or really anything for that matter, save for, like, another Chrono or a group of Chronos. There's quite a few options for builds if you choose to play Elasmo, depending on your playstyle. But the core for most Elasmos is some combination of Aqua Affinity, Improved Dart, Rich Blood, and Persistence. These talents have the most impact on your movement speed and your dart speed and distance. Because you have such a low health pool as Elasmo, you have to know when to attack and when to run away. So it's nice to have the option to do both. Powerful Jaw and Baby Snatcher can be nice talents to go on Elasmo if you want to focus more on hunting land creatures. Once you get big enough as Elasmo, just like Moza, the scaling on that grab becomes fucking absurd. Like, pair that with Elusiveness, and you can just camp a cave entrance and wait for a baby in a herd to walk up to the water and just snatch them and drown them. It's easy. Sharp Teeth as well is an amazing talent on, I mean, any carnivore. It's one of, if not the most OP talents at the moment, alongside Thick Hide, since they counter one another. It's such a strong talent. I really hope they nerf it at some point. It's just a good talent overall. It's a really, really, really good combat talent. Other than that, Exhausting Bite is a nice talent because it drains the stamina of any creature you bite, which works really well on Elasmo since you have that auto-aim ability, which means you can reliably hit things. Slippery as well is just like a strong talent in general at the moment after its buffs, but since Moses are kind of extinct right now on most servers, I don't think it's necessary to build. I'm not a huge fan of going survival talents on Elasmo. It's just not really my thing. I like to go combat speed more so than anything, especially on aquatics. But talents like Metabolism and Scavenger can be nice, especially once you get bigger and if you're relying more on fish to eat, because they fill you up less and less if you don't go those talents. And Elusiveness as well, which is the end of the survival tree for Elasmo, can synergize really well with certain other talents. And that's going to wrap up this guide on Elasmosaurus. Definitely a pretty strong creature if you know how to play it correctly, and very underplayed for how strong it is at the moment. I really hope to see more Blunder Squads on Official after this video. Alright, I'll see you all later. Peace.